Our sponsor, True Classic Tees, has the best fitting t-shirt a man can buy. It's the one-stop shop for your favorite casual crew necks, polos, and activewear. They do the styling, you do the wearing. It's that simple. Most t-shirts are too tight in all the wrong places or look way too big and boxy. There's no in-between, guys. That's until now. True Classic makes a t-shirt that fits just right. And right now, our listeners can get access to the best deal they have ever offered for a limited time only. Get 25% off with the code Chael at trueclassic.com. Their tees are snug around the arms and the chest to make your muscles pop, but they leave a little bit of wiggle room in the torso for extra comfort. Not only will you get the perfect fit, but you will also get the softness that's always wanted at an affordable price. Worried about sizing? True Classic leaves no man behind. For the bigger boys out there, there is tall and triple X sizing. Guys, upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Save 25% right now when you go to trueclassic.com and use the promo code Chael. Plus, free shipping on all orders over $100. Anthony Smith weighed in. He was talking about Chimaev. And Anthony just said, I think that Chimaev should go 185 pounds because there's more big fights for him there. Okay. It just got me thinking about Chimaev because we don't have a real clarity there. We don't have a real clarity on what Chimaev's going to do next, even in terms of weight class. But we have clues. We have these little details, right? I don't suggest for you that it isn't known what Chimaev's going to do next. I don't suggest for you roughly the date, the specific weight class, and perhaps the opponent isn't established. I'm telling you that we don't know. We haven't been brought in on that. So then we got to start reading clues in other directions. Here'd be a great example. Chimaev at 185 pounds appears to me to be the weight class that he is. I deduced that because the last time he weighed in, he weighed 178 pounds. There's my deduction. But the rightful opponent, without a question, would be Paulo Costa. Can we all agree? Okay. But a week ago, it got revealed to us that Paulo Costa is going to be fighting with Robert Whittaker, which, by the way, is an incredible fight, but that's a different fight. And if I was to put Chimaev at 185 pounds, with a number of opponents, I think I could get you excited, but it would be a tremendous letdown from Chimaev versus Paulo Costa. Can we agree on that? Okay. Now, 3 days ago, the kids on the underground revealed to us it's going to be Covington versus Chimaev, 170 pounds, number one contenders match. All right. But that was 3 days ago. It's very hard for Chimaev or sources close to Chimaev to stay quiet. They like being the one to reveal the news. They would get a lot of attention. They would gain followers if they had inside information. And historically speaking, Chimaev and his team are known to speak up. A return to 170 would be big news. Just that in of itself. A match against Covington, a number one contenders match, any one of those things in and of themselves would be news. Interesting news. If you had all three of them, it seems as though somebody would have spoke up. Now, I could give the same compliment or commentary about Colby. He is not known to keep his mouth shut. A comeback fight, right? One of the biggest stars in the business, coming off of a victory of headlining of a pay-per-view, defeating the BMF. I mean, right, there's a lot of things where Colby would like to come back out there and to get some attention. But he hasn't confirmed this fight. Colby having a fight and going back to training, just that would be a level of interest to all of us. We know he's going to fight at 170, finally being one win away, finally being back in that number one contender spot. These things would be very interesting, not to mention him versus Chimaev head-to-head, but everybody stayed very quiet. What do you make of that? I mean, for the first time ever, do we have guys in the sport who actually have been given information and kept their lips sealed as they were asked to do? Possibly. Maybe it's no more than that. But I would bring that to your attention because where do you want to see Chimaev? And if Chimaev is going to go against Covington, I don't believe there's anybody at that weight class that can beat Colby and not become the number one contender. I really don't care who the opponent is. Burns comes to mind. Belal Muhammad comes to mind. I believe if you go through Covington, you are now the number one contender, whether it was stated or not. Whether we were told that as the audience or not, we the fans will elevate you to that spot. We're not going to let you go out there and beat Colby and not get the appropriate reward. But wouldn't that be true for Chimaev at 185 pounds as well? Who would you put Chimaev with at 185? And I don't know that there's a wrong answer. Jared Cannonier comes to mind. Paulo Costa and Robert Whittaker, though they look like they're fighting each other, they come to mind. Meaningful names. Sean Strickland, meaningful name. If Chimaev bounced up to that weight class, wouldn't he only be one win away, regardless of who we put him with? Wouldn't Chimaev still only be one win away? The striker versus grappler concept that was established in 1993 and built this sport into an industry, it's still alive and well today. Chimaev versus either Pereira or Adesanya, it works. I would think that Chimaev at 185 pounds is one win away. Would you disagree? Because I'm attempting to follow the golden rule in life of put yourself in somebody else's shoes. What would you do? If you were them, how would you want to be treated? I'm attempting to do that. Okay, I close my eyes. I'm Chimaev. I'm in Chimaev's spot. I'm a young guy. I'm undefeated. I don't want to live life cutting weight. I've got to be in the gym twice a day, every day. I've got all this media. I've got all these appearances. I have an opportunity, but the opportunity, one, can make me uncomfortable, or two, can make me comfortable. And some guys don't know it, right? Some guys are used to cutting weight their whole life, like Chimaev, a wrestler. He just doesn't know any different. Maybe I'm speaking to you as more of a veteran in the sport. I eventually left a weight class to go up a weight class. I eventually left that weight class and went to unlimited. So I can share with you firsthand, boy, life is different. The way you interact with people, just your pleasantries in life. When you go to bed with something in your stomach instead of hungry, maybe I'm just personalizing this too much, but I would look at Chimaev, who's a young guy. We know as human beings, we don't get smaller with time. We all tend to gain some weight, regardless of how many calories you're burning, regardless of how hard you work. I would feel as though either weight class, 170 and 185, provide the same opportunity, which is one win away from the title shot. That's what I would think. Makes sense to me. Is there somebody at the top of the bill, right? Maybe it's not all about a title shot. Maybe it's about a title. Is there somebody at the top of the bill who you'd rather avoid? We're never going to be privy to that information, but that's a real thing that goes through a guy's mind. The guy's going to put himself in a weight class or put himself in a situation where he feels he can be most successful. Why would Chimaev go back to 170? And what kind of a reward is it to fight Colby Covington? That's the hardest fight that you can possibly have. Is there a harder fight at 85? Do you guys see it that way? Do you believe that Chimaev would see it that way? Because I think we're right in deducing that Chimaev is one win away from a title fight. I do think that. And I also think that we're right with our hypothesis here that carries over to two weight classes. One win at 85 or a win at 170 puts you into a title fight. Well, now you've got the likely suspects. Do you go through Pierre or do you go through Adesanya? Do you go through Leon or do you go through Usman? It's interesting. Which would you rather do? Which do you think that you have more opportunity? And between those fights, between your number one contenders fight and your title fight, what do you think is the path of least resistance? I think Chimaev's in the same spot. Nobody said that. There's a lot of things that have to happen, right? There's this magic wand that has to be waved over you. Nobody, now how good or popular you are, just gets to be one fight away from a title opportunity. But it would seem like Chimaev versus a top guy would do just that. It would seem like Chimaev versus Paulo Costa works, but that's not happening. Paulo Costa is signed to fight Whittaker. It would seem like the kids on the underground that started the rumor about Covington versus Chimaev were onto something at the time they did it, but now it's been 3 days and mum's the word. I don't like having to guess. And generally with Chimaev, I don't have to guess. He usually speaks up. He's usually out there. Right now, things are very quiet. And when it comes to Chimaev and what next, we don't even know the weight class.